Uh, Breaking news just not long come out, and it's really bad. And a big threat to this so-called ceasefire that's coming out. Donald Trump is outright saying he wants to take over Gaza and remove the Palestinians by force if necessary. So Trump's Gaza plan will be seen as flying in the face of international law. When US President Donald Trump began speaking 10 days ago of Gaza as a demolition site, calling to clean out that whole thing, it wasn't clear how far these were off the cuff remarks. But in the lead up to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit, in his Oval Office comments before the meeting, and in the press conference itself, it's now clear he's profoundly serious about his proposals, but of course he is. They amount to the most radical upending in the established US position on Israel and the Palestinians in the recent history of the conflict, and will be seen as flying in the face of international law, as well as how the announcement will be absorbed by ordinary people on the ground. It could also have a significant impact on the more immediate phase ceasefire and hostage release process at a critical juncture here. Trump and his officials are framing to call to, in his language, permanently resettle all Palestinians out of Gaza as a humanitarian gesture. Bullshit. Saying there is no alternative for them because Gaza is a demolition site. Yeah, and whose fault is that, eh? But they can start rebuilding like what the British did during the Blitz. And with the rebuilding of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and what have you. Under international law, attempts to forcibly transfer populations are strictly prohibited. No shit. And Palestinians, as well as Arab nations, will see this as nothing short of a clear proposal aimed at the expulsion and the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians from their land. Yeah, shocking. That's why Arab leaders have always categorically rejected his ideas, and they still need to reject it. Just don't let them be removed. Made with increasing frequency over the last 10 days when he suggested Egypt and Jordan could take Palestinians from Gaza. No. In a statement on Saturday, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, the Palestinian Authority and the Arab League said that such a move could threaten the region's stability, risk expanding the conflict, and undermine prospects for peace and coexistence among its peoples. He said, what's going to happen now with all these hostage releases and ceasefires? That's probably going to be all buggered now. It has long been a desire of the ultra-nationalist far right in Israel to expel Palestinians from the occupied territories and expand Jewish settlements in their place. Israeli settlements, you mean? Since the 7th of October 2023 attacks on Israel, these groups, leaders of whom have been part of Netanyahu's coalition, have demanded the war against Hamas continue indefinitely. Of course, vowing ultimately to re-establish Israeli settlements in the Gaza Strips. It should be Palestinian settlements in the Gaza Strip. They have continued their calls and opposed the current ceasefire, of course, and hostage release deal, of course. In his White House press conference with the Israeli Prime Minister, Trump went further even than his recent growing calls for Palestinians in Gaza to be relocated to Egypt and Jordan, saying that the United States would then take the territory over and rebuild it. But yeah, so they're just conquering it, basically. So he doesn't want Israel to take over it, he wants the US to take over it. Is that what you're saying? When asked whether Palestinians would be allowed back, he said the world's people would live there, whatever that means, saying it would be an international, unbelievable place before adding, also Palestinians. So, do you want Palestinians there or not? Also Palestinians. His Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, early in the day summed up much of a tone around the proposal, saying of Trump, "This guy knows real estate. He's not a businessman. He's a president of the United States." Okay. Trump said it would be the Riviera of the Middle East. Will it now? Asked whether American troops would be involved in the takeover of Gaza, Mr. Trump said, "We'll do what is necessary." His proposals amount to the most radical transformation in the U.S. position on the U.S. territory. I'll start again. His proposals amount to the most radical transformation in the U.S. position on the territory since the creation of the State of Israel in 1948 and the War of 1967, which saw the start of Israel's military occupation of land, including the Gaza Strip. Gaza was already home to Palestinians who fled or were forced from their homes in the wars surrounding Israel's creation. They and their descendants make up the vast majority of Gaza's population to this day. Trump's proposals, if enacted, would involve that population, now more than 2 million people, being forced elsewhere in the Arab world, or even beyond, says Trump, to resettle permanently. Bastard. Proposals would wipe out the possibility of a future two-state solution in any conventional sense, and will categorically be rejected by Palestinians and the Arab world as an expulsion plan. It will be rejected by the whole world, the decent world, that is. Much of Netanyahu's political base and the ultranational settlers movement in Israel will champion Trump's words, seeing him as fulfillment as a means of Netanyahu, puts it to stop Gaza as being a threat to Israel. For ordinary Palestinians, it will amount to a mass act of collective punishment. Yeah. So it's fucked now. This has pretty much proven that that this ceasefire and the hostage releases, it's all buggered. And the question is now is what's Hamas going to do? Are they with this news, are they just going to say fuck it and just start fighting again? Or are we just going to continue as normal? This is buggered. So yeah, this is serious. 25th Amendment.